Fellow Earthlings, what's going on today? Thank you for joining me on another episode of Let It Go Junk Removal with Austin Hiers. That's me, aka the King of Junk. If you're just joining in on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and notifications bell so you can get notified every time I put up a new helpful video or just a video for entertainment purposes. Today is going to be about how to price your junk removals. So if you're starting a junk removal company or you already have one started and you're just struggling to price your junk removals, hopefully this video can help you out. So let's get started. You really can't sell a job unless you get a lead, right? So how do we get those leads? Mostly in my company, we get the leads from Google Ads. We get it from various different places, but 50% of our leads come from Google Ads. So we pick up the phone. Thank you for choosing Let It Go Junk Removal. How may we help you? And actually recently I've been asking what city are you located in first. So I say, thank you for choosing Let It Go Junk Removal. What city are you located in? So I ask that question first. And then what I go ahead and ask after I know that I can serve their area is how can I help them? And they will either tell me they need a dumpster rental or a junk removal or pressure washing services, which are three of the services that we offer. But today we're gonna focus on junk removal. So they say, hey, yeah, I need a junk removal. I say, okay, we can help you out with that. What we can do is send out two guys to give you a free, no obligation estimate on site. And when you agree with the price, we can get the job done right then and there. So it's super easy, super simple, and I can get most people put in the schedule with just that simple line. You go ahead and get a couple of details, like what are we removing? Are we removing a couch? Are we removing a hot tub? Are we removing miscellaneous? Are we gonna have to go through the cabinets? Do we have to do a full house clean out? So you don't ask them all those questions in particular, but you just let them tell you what kind of items they have to remove. And just write that down in your notes so you're prepared to remove those items if they do agree with your estimate price when you arrive. So basically, you just get yourself set up. All right, so selling your lead, boom. You got your free estimate set up, you go out to the job, it's the next day, you're going out to that job that you set a free estimate for. Before we even arrive, we send a text message to the customer so that they know we're on the way. After we arrive, we put on our masks, obviously, and we put our gloves in our pocket, we bring our tablet with the work order, and we just follow the customer around. They show us everything that needs to be removed. While we're walking around, we take pictures of all the stuff that needs to be removed. So say you start at the front yard, then they say something's inside, and they say, oh, we got something on the side of the yard, we got something in the back of the yard. There's something at the bottom of the pool I need you to get. I've never had that, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone's had to dive to the bottom of the pool to get something out. So yeah, you just have to know that if it's a spread out job, definitely charge more on top of your full load price or on top of your load by volume price. For example, when I'm going to do a house clean out, my full loads are typically $475. If you have it sitting in a pile, it's easy for us to pull up, load up, and go. But if it's spread out, I charge $500, which is an extra $25 per load because we have to walk here, walk there. And that's basically if they have several loads. Now, if it's only one load and it's very spread out, sometimes I'll even charge up to $675 for a full load because of how far it is to walk around. So you can see I went from $475 if it's all in one pile and all stacked up for us to $675 if it's all spread out and hard to get. Basically, if you're trying to get prices, make sure you just kind of price around what the large companies are at right now, and then you use that price because you want to stay close to what the large companies are at. If we start bringing the value of junk removal down, then it's going to be hard for anybody to start a new junk removal business out there and be successful because they won't be able to charge what they need to because there'll be other people out there, oh, I'll do a full load for $250. It doesn't make sense. So just charge what you're worth and charge what the big boys charge, maybe just under that, so you can be competitive, but close to it, because if you're not competitive, it ruins it for everybody else. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys basically all the different factors that you need to include in your estimates when you're giving them to your customer to do your junk removals. I know that most junk removal companies charge per volume, but there's situations where you can't just charge by the volume. and you have to figure out a different way to get to your price. So I'm going to show you a little bit of how we do that, and hopefully these tips will help you out. Also, click that like button if you like this video and the information that I'm giving out, guys. It really helps out the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit subscribe. Let's continue on. So back to answering the calls, guys. When you're answering the calls, just make sure you ask all the right questions so that you have the information when you arrive to give your estimate, and you're just more prepared, like I said earlier. Some questions involve like, are there stairs? If there's stairs involved, I automatically charge $10 per flight of stairs, and if it's like a full load of stuff upstairs, I'll charge even more than that, just depending on how much stuff is upstairs or downstairs. So you have to price according to how far you're traveling. If you're going upstairs, is the pile scattered? Is it in one place? Is it going to be concrete? Is it going to be tile? Is it going to be shingles? Is it going to be a heavy, really heavy load where your dump trailer may not even be able to fill up halfway before it's maxed out with weight? In that case, you can't take a full load of concrete or shingles or tile because it would be way too heavy for your dumpster or trailer. Speaking of that, guys, all your pricing has to include basically all of your maintenance costs on the trucks and trailers. So your brakes and your tires are something that are going to go out very often. So just make sure you include a little bit extra to pay for that when that time comes. Basically, if you're charging just enough to make a little bit of profit and there's no savings there, you're not going to have any extra money to pay for unexpected expenses. So always think about that in your price. Tires, brakes, your engine breaking down, all kinds of things, oil changes. If you're in a diesel truck, you need DEF fluid. Most of us charge per volume, but there's a whole bunch more to pricing than just per volume. There's also the labor, the distance, the time and wear and tear on your truck and trailer. There is no exact science on how to charge or price for junk removal. That's just the straight up truth. But I'm here to tell you that I figured out the best and easiest, most efficient ways to figure out how to charge. So let's just keep going here. When you're dumping in different cities, make sure to find your landfill in those different cities and see which one is the cheapest to dump at. Which ones take furniture, which ones take just construction debris, which ones take just household garbage. That will affect how much money you make in the very end. So go ahead and study those, memorize those landfills, and keep them in your head so that you don't have to always be fumbling around, where am I gonna go, where am I gonna take this, trying to find it on GPS. Size matters in the junk removal industry, guys. So I've seen anywhere from a 10 to an 18 cubic yard dumpster used in the junk removal industry to remove people's rubbish. The bigger your container, the more you can charge for it. And the more you can charge, the more you can load in your container. So it goes hand in hand. If you go do a job and say it's 18 cubic yards of junk and you only have a 10 cubic yard container, well, that's going to be damn near 2 loads for you, and it's going to take you several more hours to get done because of travel time. So I typically like to go with my 16 cubic yard. It's a in the middle size, and it really does pull the money in when I'm out there charging to fill that 16 cubic yard container. I charge about $5.75 for that one because it's bigger than my 12 cubic yard container. So having different size containers, you have to actually charge different for each container because of the size difference and the amount of trash that that container can hold. So if that makes sense, that's another thing that's going to really affect your pricing. So there's so many factors here. Like I said, it's not an exact science, but you have to take all of this into account. A cubic yard, 1 cubic yard is 3 by 3 by 3. So it's about the size of a stove or a washer or dryer. So keep that in mind when you're pricing your junk removals. How much cubic yards can I fit in this container, and how much am I going to charge per cubic yard? Fellow earthlings, things that you have to look out for while on the job to increase your price on the junk removal. So if you run across some of these items that I'm about to read off, you need to increase your price because they're going to cost more to dump. More than likely, they're going to cost more to dump. I don't know exactly where you're at, and don't take my word exactly for it. Do a little research, but these items more than likely are going to cost more for you to dump, so you need to raise your price so you can make the amount of money that you're worth. So PT wood, tires, TVs, appliances, hot tubs, concrete. Concrete is one that you have to charge more because of the fact that it just weighs so much. Now, I have a couple of places near me that I can drop concrete for free. So the only thing with that is I have to make sure they don't fill the concrete all the way up to the top of the container, or else I won't be able to lift it onto my roll-off system. So they can only really go halfway up the container with the concrete. You have to watch out for tile. You have to watch out for drywall. Drywall is especially sneaky because it's flat and it's heavy. So if you have a whole bunch of drywall to load up, make sure you charge extra because you're not really gonna fill the container too fast, and it's gonna come up with a lot of weight really quickly. Anything with oil, engines, lawnmowers, weed whackers, stuff like that, you can usually just drain the oil out and scrap it at the scrapyard. You can save some money that way, and just include that in your price. Okay, well, this is a little bit of scrap metal, so I can charge regular price for this, or maybe I can knock a couple bucks off. Scrap metal is really not worth that much these days, so don't knock too much off your price. Basically, that's all the tips I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. May the price be with you. Oh crap. Check you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. See you next time. Woo!